Padres pregame show on the Padres Radio Network.
Yeah, Machado laces it in the air to deep left. This one gonna go!
Coming up, we'll recap the last Padres game, preview today's starting pitching matchup, give you our keys to the game. Plus, we'll hear from manager Craig Stammen. From the Padres Radio Network, here's Sam Levitt.
San Diego Padres baseball coming up on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. As today the Padres take on the Colorado Rockies in the first game of a two-game series. Our starting pitching matchup today for the Rockies, right-hander Michael Lorenzen, and for the Padres, right-hander Michael King. Hi again, everybody. Sam Levitt with you from inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. First pitch coming up at 6:40 p.m. as the Padres begin this six-game homestand. Coming up in the next 50 minutes, we have a lot to do. You'll hear from Padres manager Craig Stammen. You'll hear from Padres third baseman Manny Machado, from closer Mason Miller. We check in with Jesse Agler in just a few minutes, and much, much more. But first, it's time to set the table, brought to you by Fraser Farms Market. Set your table with the highest quality of natural and organic products from Fraser Farms Market, a San Diego original since 1971 with 3 locations, La Mesa Vista and Oceanside, and at FraserFarmsMarket.com. Padres entered today 53-53, coming off a 5-5 road trip to Kansas City, Atlanta, and Miami. They enter the day a game and a half out of the final wild card spot in the National League. A win today would put the Padres above 500 for the first time since July 1st. It would also give them 4 consecutive wins for the first time since late June. Rockies, meanwhile, come in 42-65. They just lost 3 of 4 to the Giants in San Francisco. Padres have won 6 out of the 7 meetings against Colorado this season. Before we turn our full attention to this series and homestand, well, the Padres had one of their best wins of the year on Sunday in Miami. Let's rewind.
Did you miss what happened in the last Padres game? Let's take a look back with our Padres Rewind on the Padres Radio Network.
Let's begin in the 5th inning. Padres down 3-0. Manny Machado put the Padres on the board.
And Machado hits it hard on a line beyond the dive of Pauly and down the left field side. Cronenworth is digging for third. He's going to be waved. Hernandez's throw comes into Lopez. The relay to the plate, no shot. RBI double Manny Machado. The Padres are on the board here in the 5th.
Padres trailing 3-1 in the 8th inning, and they had a runner on base. Guess who? It was Manny again.
Pitch on the way. Machado swings, hits it in the air to right center field. Ruiz racing back, still going back. This one gonna go! Line drive, home run, Manny Machado. A 2-run shot to tie the game. It's 3-3 here in the 8th.
Brand new ball game. Couple batters later, it was Jackson Merrill.
1-1 ripped in the air to deep right field. Conine's going back. This one gonna go! Second of the inning, and the Padres have a lead for the first time today. Jackson Merrill and Manny Machado with 8th inning homers, and the Padres lead it 4-3.
Padres got another run in that 8th inning to make it 5-3. That set things up for Mason Miller.
2-2 the pitch. Max swings and misses at a slider, strike 3. The ball game is over. Mason Miller with his 27th save, and the Padres a signature win to complete the sweep here in Miami. A 5-5 road trip and back to 500 on the year. 5-3 the final score.
Big time players do big time things, and the big time players for the Padres showed up in a huge way.
Manny tying the game with the home run. Merrill giving the Padres the lead with a solo shot moments later. Mason Miller 27 for 27 in save opportunities, and the Padres won it by a final score of 5-3. Now the Padres return home for the start of this 6-game homestand, with first pitch coming up at 6:40 on a gorgeous Tuesday night here in downtown San Diego. You want a photo? Yeah, come on, take a photo. Live here on the pregame show. All right, there we go. Nice to meet you. Have fun at the game here tonight. It is Bucket Hat Giveaway. I'm on the radio right now. Good to see you. All right, as we get ready for this one, first pitch coming up at 6:40. Let's go inside the Jerry Coleman Broadcast Center.
let's take a trip up to the Padres broadcast booth for a deep dive on today's matchup with Jesse Agler in our Padres game preview on the Padres Radio Network.
Well, Jesse, it certainly feels like a very significant week of games here at Petco Park. 2 against the Rockies, 4 against the Giants. The trade deadline looming less than a week away. How do you frame everything that's to come in the next week or so, both on the field and then potentially with what happens around the deadline?
Yeah, I mean, I know we kind of like to sometimes understate things and not make too big a deal out of it, but I don't know. It feels very big to me, these 6. Look, the trade deadline is on Monday, and I know Craig Stammen is saying, hey, the next 2 months, they matter just as much. And they do look, in terms of the standings, the Padres, regardless of what happens in these 6 games and regardless of what happens before Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific, they are going to play, those remaining however many games in August and September, and they're going to try and win them all. That's what they do as professional baseball players. But I truly believe a lot of what takes place between now and Sunday at about 4 p.m. Is going to have an awful lot to do with what takes place between then and Monday at 3 p.m. when the trade deadline occurs. And, they put themselves in a really, really good position with the way they ended that road trip. Not just because they swept the Marlins and they won those games, but I think the way in which they did it, this offense right now, I think, is really for the first time in 2026 looking like the offense that we kind of all expected to see this year. That's no time like the present, right? And so I think, if you're making the decisions here, not to put my Preller hat on, but if you're making the decisions, that's one of the things you have to consider is that, the Padre offense looks like the Padre offense. And so that certainly would nudge me, in a direction here of trying to, be a little bit aggressive maybe and do some things to add to the pot. But look, there's a 1,000,001 variables. There are probably, it feels like 1,000,000 teams in very similar spot as the Padres. There's a lot of different things that could go right or wrong in a lot of different ways between now and then. But yeah, man, these games, they're very, very big. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, very, very big week, no doubt. Going to be a fascinating week in a number of different respects. Jesse, let's talk about the pitching situation. Michael King on the mound for the Padres today. Obviously, a guy you want on the mound when the games have this kind of magnitude. But quite frankly, after that, it's going to be more of this, whatever word you want to use, bullpenning, pitching chaos, whatever terminology you want to use. It's a question mark after that as far as what the pitching will look like. Your thoughts on how the Padres, at least for the time being, are going to continue trying to piece this thing together from a pitching standpoint?
Yeah, I think, it's what are the old sayings about, creativity is a mother of necessity, all those kinds of things. And it is. And I love the fact that they're thinking outside the box because they have to. It's nobody's preference, right? I mean, every manager and GM would tell you, I'd love to have 5 starters who all go 7-8 innings every night. That's the truth of it, but that's not where the Padres are right now, because of injuries and ineffectiveness. And so instead of sitting around and kicking the dirt and getting angry about it, it's like, all right, let's see what we have and what can we do with these guys to try and make the best out of the situation. That is problem-solving thinking, which I'm a very big fan of in life and in baseball. And we'll see how it works. It's creative. It's different. You mentioned the pitching chaos thing. That's what the Tigers called it a couple of years ago. They wrote it almost, all the way into the third round of the playoffs, right? Or the second, whatever it was. It was a remarkable run that they had really with one starting pitcher. He happened to be the best starter in the major leagues at the time. But it was pretty wild watching them do their thing in 2024. I don't know. And I say that truly, literally, I don't know how sustainable it is. I don't know how long you can do that. I don't know how successful it is over the long haul. And there is a long haul left. Again, 2 full months of baseball coming up in front of us. That's asking a lot out of a lot of guys. You have to really have a lot of things go right. In order for that whole thing to work, you got to get innings out of King and Buehler pretty much every time they pitch. You get one bad start out of one of those guys, and they got to come out in the 3rd inning or something like that. It can really mess you up. So it's a lot. It's a hard thing to do. So that kind of leads me to believe all right, maybe this is the strategy for this moment. Maybe this is the strategy for this week. And then you get to the trade deadline and you see what the roster looks like, come Monday night. And then maybe you say, okay, what does this moment now call for? And I think if the Padres have a successful week ahead here, then, probably the pitching staff might look a little bit different come Monday night than it looks, here tonight on Tuesday.
Jesse, good insight as always. Michael Lorenzen on the mound for Colorado today. That's certainly a guy who could get moved from Colorado at some point before Monday night. We shall see. Going to be a fun, interesting week of baseball here in downtown San Diego. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you and Bob Scanlon coming up at 6:30.
You got it, Tim.
All right, that is Jesse Agler joining us on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show here on the Padres Radio Network as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 6:40. Game one of this quick two-game series against Colorado, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the Giants come to town, and all that before the trade deadline on Monday afternoon. So the final 6 games before the deadline, Padres very much in the mix, a game and a half out of a playoff spot entering today. Going to be a very interesting week of baseball. And the Padres, certainly with the opponents they have coming in, they have a nice opportunity to really push their front office into buy mode when it comes to the trade deadline. Lot to do on our pregame coverage. When we come back, we'll hear from Padres manager Craig Stammen. Take our first look at the Padres lineup here today. A little bit later, hear from Manny Machado and Mason Miller. Jam-packed EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show. We continue after this on the Padres Radio Network.
Stay tuned to the
EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. First pitch is coming up at 6:40. It is poncho giveaway night, so plenty of people already here inside the loft having a good time, wearing their ponchos and enjoying all their food and drink here at Petco Park. Everybody settling in for what should be a nice night of baseball. Game one of this short 2-game series against the Rockies and this 6-game homestand throughout the course of the week here in downtown San Diego. First time the Padres have been back home in quite some time since before the All-Star break. So everybody raring to go here at Petco Park with Michael King on the mound for San Diego. Let's take a look at the Padres lineup here today. Looks like this. Fernando Tatis Jr. in right field leading off. Jake Cronenworth at second base batting second. Manny Machado at third base batting third. Ty France at first base batting cleanup. Jackson Merrill in center field batting fifth. Luis Rengifo in left field batting sixth. Gavin Sheets, the DH, batting seventh. Xander Bogaerts at shortstop batting eighth. And Luis Campusano doing the catching and batting ninth, with, again, the right-hander Michael King on the hill. As we get ready for first pitch coming up at 6:40, let's hear from the Padre manager.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres skipper Craig Stammen. Served up by Sinley Food. If you've had better chicken, you must be a rooster.
I'm sure that road trip, record-wise, maybe not everything that you guys wanted it to be, but to be able to end it with a sweep of Miami, what does that do for you guys coming into this homestand?
Yeah, it's a good finish for us, left us with a good taste in our mouth, and allows us to bring some momentum into this homestand.
Now you're facing two sub-500 teams ahead of the trade deadline. How do you kind of view that as an opportunity, but also recognize, I mean, they are big league clubs, of course?
Yeah, I think that you just said it right there. Every team's a major league team. They've got major league players. We just had a draft. All these guys got drafted in the same way, and they may not be playing good this year, but they have the capability of beating anybody.
What is the importance of this week for you guys? How do you balance knowing that the trade deadline is looming and you are trying to make a statement about what it is that you'd like AJ and to do?
Yeah, I don't think, honestly, the trade deadline doesn't really matter. It's like the rest of the season, and we've got to play well the rest of the season, this week, the next week, the week after that, the week after that, the week after that. So this week carrying more importance than the next 6 weeks probably doesn't make a ton of sense to me. I know that there's a deadline. It's always good to look at deadlines and try to figure out a way, but these 6 games are just as important as the last 6 games.
Okay, so as of late, you guys have kind of had this all-hands-on-deck approach with the pitching staff, but to have a guy like Michael King, who's really been someone you've been able to rely on throughout the season, what does that kind of do for you as a manager, just in terms of what you're having to do in game?
Yeah, hopefully Michael pitches well tonight like he normally does, and I don't have to make pitching moves early like I have, the other ways, but I think with Michael, he's just a solid major league starter. He's our best pitcher. He's our ace, and when you have an ace like that, you count on him to kind of give everybody a little bit breather in the bullpen and give the rest of the starters a breather too, and a template to, how to beat the teams that he's facing.
Craig, how difficult is a week like this for the team? I mean, Manny sounded kind of exhausted coming off that long stretch. You have multiple guys in the clubhouse dealing with trade rumors. How difficult is a week like this for guys?
Yeah, I think, the trade rumor stuff is not theirs. It's just brought onto them randomly. Like, who knows if they're even true? Most of them aren't. And I think it's realizing that's the fact, and that they've just got to do their job, answer the questions that you guys give them about that stuff. But then their job is to go out and play baseball, and all that stuff's kind of out the window.
And AJ had said after the draft that how this team plays down the stretch could determine whether you guys are buyers or sellers. What do you think you showed on this road trip?
Say that again.
What do you think you showed on this road trip?
I showed that we got fight. Like, we've shown that all year, where we can look like we're down and out, and then we come back and, come out smelling like roses. So this team will never give up. They will continue to fight. We've seen it a ton of times late in games, and I think that's a really good attribute to have going forward for the rest of the year.
You mentioned Jackson and some of the adjustments after Sunday's win. Can you shed any more light on what the change was that allowed him, I think you said, freedom up to compete a little bit, look more like himself?
Yeah, I think that's all it is. Just, he's working in the cage every single day, trying to find, a feeling that allowed him to be who he is at the plate, and he found that feeling, and now he's a lot freer, and the results have kind of come, at the end of that, which is nice. It's always, sometimes you feel things and you don't get the results. He's gotten the results relatively quickly, and that gives you a lot of confidence going forward.
When you're hired, there's a lot of talk about, like, your experience in the clubhouse, your experience with these guys, being a player. Like, have you found that to be an asset during kind of an up and down season where you're having to kind of navigate some stuff, and now you seem to be in a better spot?
Yeah, I don't know if it's an asset in that regard. It's been just an asset overall, because they know who I am, and they know kind of what I'm going to be like on most days if I'm consistent, and I also know what they're going to be like on most days, consistent. It's the good and the bad. We know enough about each other to be okay with both, and I think that allows us to get past some of the tough times together or some of the good times together and just be ready to go and compete.
What's the plan for Estrada? He's back.
Yeah, he's here today. He's going to throw, his normal rehab, and then, hopefully he's active here in a couple days.
How have your reports been? I know there was some shorter rehab appearances, like an hour or two.
Yeah, they've been good. Yeah, really good.
Do you have a pitching plan for tomorrow?
Do we have a pitching plan? It's TBD.
Is it contingent on tonight, potentially?
Yeah, I think outside of Michael King and Walker Buehler, the other 3 days in the rotation are going to be, based on the previous day, the previous 2 days. And, yesterday was an off day, so maybe a little bit. We have a lot more options probably because of that. And then we'll decide, based on the opponent, based on what we think the lineup will be and who we think's most available and most effective.
Do you enjoy that part as a former pitcher and reliever to patchwork it like this?
I mean, it's a lot easier to line up 5 starters that you feel, really comfortable. That's just easier. Is this fun? I don't know. It depends what kind of fun you're thinking of.
Do you feel equipped to do it because of your experience?
You know what? I got a lot of good people around me too. I'm not the only one, helping try to formulate this plan. Ruben's been through this. Ben Fritz has been through this. Peter Somerville, Chris Abasachea, the whole pitching group, myself. Randy Norris been through stuff like this, Kevin Plawecki. So all of us putting our heads together, trying to come up with good collective decision-making and, put these pitchers in the best situation to succeed. I do have some experience with it as a player, and so my job is hopefully communicating in the right way, how it was communicated to me in the right way so that they have clarity and are able to have success.
With the opportunity to add over the next 7 days, do you have a wish list that you do float upstream?
The 26 guys we got right here are exactly who I need and who we need to win it all.
That was Padres manager Craig Stammen earlier today inside the Padres dugout. We'll hear more from Craig on our post-game coverage coming up later on this evening. Let's quickly pause for station identification on the Padres radio network.
KWFN and KWFN HD1 San Diego.
Hi, this is Jake Cronenworth from the San Diego Padres. You're listening to Padres Baseball on the Padres Radio Network.
And Odyssey Sports Station.
Sam Levitt with you here inside the loft at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. First pitch coming up at 6:40. We just heard from Jake Cronenworth. He's been swinging the bat well. Let's tell you more about guys swinging the bats well as we tell you who's hot, who's not.
Which player is locked in at the dish? Who needs to step up their game? This is Who's Hot, Who's Not. Presented by ASAP Drain Guys and Plumbing, a division of Anderson Commercial, your full-service plumber serving San Diego County.
A lot of guys in the hot category today. Let's begin with Ty France. Hits in 13 of his last 14 games, batting .407 with a 1267 OPS in that span. 6 home runs, 5 doubles in those 14 games. Luis Rengifo in the midst of an 8-game hitting streak, hitting .464 with 2 home runs and 7 RBIs in that hit streak. Rengifo, by the way, very good career numbers against today's Rockies starter, Michael Lorenzen. 4 for 11 against him with a couple of home runs in his career. Manny Machado batting .344 in his last 7 games with 4 home runs and 7 RBIs. Jackson Merrill hitting .433 with 5 home runs and 2 doubles in his last 8 games. And Jake Cronenworth also in the hot category today, but we'll talk more about Jake a little bit later. The not category, believe it or not, for as productive as the Padres offense was against the Marlins, Fernando Tatis Jr. 0 for his last 13. Gavin Sheets continues to struggle. He is only 4 for his last 46. And that's a look at who's hot, who's not, as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 6:40 here in downtown San Diego. Let's take a look at some Major League headlines as we go around the horn.
Let's examine the most important news and the latest information you need to know in the world of Major League Baseball. Sam Levitt takes you around the horn. Presented by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Get ready for Major League winning when you join Valley View Casino and Hotel's Players Club and receive over $200 in free instant offers. Visit valleyviewcasino.com to learn more today.
Well, let's begin by talking about a brutal story for the Boston Red Sox. They just traded for Nationals hitter Curtis Mead, and they had to give up Connolly Early, talented left-hander, under control for a long time in order to get him. Well, Mead, in his Red Sox debut yesterday, gets hit by a pitch, and he has a broken left wrist, so he will be out for a while. He may need surgery. It is a significant blow to the Red Sox, who just traded for Curtis Mead. Gets hit by a pitch in Sacramento yesterday, diagnosed with a broken left wrist. Brewers first baseman Jake Bauers has a broken big toe on his right foot. He was out of today's lineup against the San Francisco Giants. Other injury news, the Yankees have lost Cody Bellinger for 4 to 6 weeks due to a grade 2 left hamstring strain. He was placed on the IL yesterday after he felt tightness in his hamstring on Saturday. He's going to be out for a while, so now the Yankees without both Judge and Bellinger. And finally, the Cubs designated right-hander Jameson Taillon for assignment earlier today. That's after he gave up 7 runs in 4 innings in his start against the Pirates yesterday. Taillon was in the final year of a 4-year, $68 million deal. His struggles this season certainly evident. Gave up a lot of home runs, and the Cubs DFAing the veteran right-hander Jameson Taillon. And that is a quick look at some of the headlines from around the major leagues. We'll have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard coming your way as well. When we come back, we hear from Manny Machado, we hear from Mason Miller as we walk you up towards first pitch coming up at 6:40 here in downtown San Diego. Stay tuned on the Padres Radio Network.
Hey friends, it's Woodsy.
Beautiful early evening here in downtown San Diego as we get ready for today's game. First pitch coming up at 6:40. Padres taking on the Colorado Rockies. Right-hander Michael King on the mound. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. As always, our pregame coverage brought to you by EcoWater SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. Visit EcoWaterSoCal.com or call 760-350-3338. That's 760-350-3338. Let's give you a very comprehensive injury report on this Tuesday.
Who's in? Who's out? This is the Bada Fulkerson Injury Report, presented by San Diego's Bulldog Injury Attorneys, who hope you're never in an accident. But if you are, make Bada Fulkerson the first call you make. Hit them up 24/7 at badafulkerson.com.
You will not find a more comprehensive Padres injury report in America than I'm going to give you right now. We're going to go through everybody on the IL right now, give you the latest on each and every guy. Here we go. Jason Adam continues to be on the IL with a right shoulder strain. He continues his rehab in San Diego. Miguel Andujar on the IL with a right wrist fracture. He's continuing to rehab in San Diego. Jeremiah Estrada was in the Padres clubhouse today. He is here. He was on a rehab assignment with AAA El Paso. As you heard from Craig a little bit earlier, sounds like pretty good chance Jeremiah is activated in the days to come. Lucas Giolito still on the IL with right elbow inflammation. He continues his rehab and throwing program this week at the Arizona complex. David Morgan on the IL with left knee inflammation. He's continuing his rehab and throwing program in Arizona as well. Joe Musgrove on the IL, as you know, continuing his rehab and progression with live batting practice this week in Arizona. Same thing for Nick Pivetta. He will continue with another live batting practice this week in Arizona. Samad Taylor on the IL with a right oblique strain. He's continuing his rehab in Arizona. And finally, Ramon Laureano, you know, he underwent surgery in early June on the right hip on that labrum repair. He is also rehabbing at the team's Arizona complex. And that is the latest on each and every guy on the IL right now. Very comprehensive injury report. Certainly sounds like Estrada and then David Morgan, probably the first two guys that'll be ready to come off the IL. Sounds like Estrada based on what Craig Stammen said earlier today, and the fact that he's here today sounds like he is very, very close to returning, which would be a very good thing, obviously, for the Padres bullpen. Let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
We have a few finals already today. The Marlins beat the Phillies for a second straight game, 1-0 in Miami. Tigers beat up on the Orioles, 14-0 in Detroit. Doubleheader today in Cincinnati. Guardians beat the Reds 6-5 in game one of that doubleheader. We've got a lot of games going on right now. Diamondbacks ahead of the Pirates, 6-0 in Pittsburgh in the 8th inning. Rangers lead the Rays 4-1 in the 9th inning in Tampa Bay. Nationals 4, Blue Jays 2 in DC in the 4th inning. Game 2 of that doubleheader in Cincinnati. Reds ahead 2-0 over Cleveland in the 8th inning. Royals lead the Twins 2-1 in the 6th inning in Minnesota. Yankees ahead of the White Sox 3-0 in the 5th inning in Chicago. Cubs lead the Cardinals 7-1 in St. Louis in the 4th inning. We've got a handful of games yet to begin. Astros and the Angels in Anaheim at 6:38. Red Sox and the A's in Sacramento at 6:40. Brewers and the Giants in San Francisco at 6:45. Mariners and the Dodgers in LA at 7:10. We did have one rain out today. Braves and the Mets rained out due to the weather, obviously, in New York. They will play a doubleheader tomorrow at Citi Field in Queens. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard. I promise you we'll have much more info on all those games coming up during our post-game coverage. Well, Manny Machado, of course, in the Padres lineup today, playing third base and batting third. As we said a little bit earlier during Who's Hot, Who's Not, Manny has been hot for the Padres lately. Had, quite frankly, one of the biggest swings for the Padres this season with that game-tying home run in the 8th inning on Sunday in Miami. It's a big week. The trade deadline now less than a week away. Here was Manny Machado inside the Padres clubhouse earlier today. His view of the final week of the season before the trade deadline.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think we just want to play some good baseball, and I think it was a great road trip for us. Obviously, the wins weren't there, but you know, offense got going. Our pitching did a great job. Our bullpen did their job. So, you know, we played some really good ball games there.
Nice for you guys, though, that the week before the deadline, you guys are playing home versus two teams that.
I mean, I think we're playing at home. It's felt like we've been on the road forever. You know, it's been a really tough stretch for us. We finished 17 off to the break, started off 10 right off the break. have an off day, and we have another 17, I think it is, in a row or something like that. Yeah, it's been a rough one for us this last month. So, I think, we get over this hump, with a nice low pace of winning some ball games and getting hot as a group. I think we're going to put ourselves in a really good spot.
What have you seen from Stammen and the coaching staff just in kind of helping you guys navigate some of the highs and lows and now getting you to this point where the team as a whole is trending in a good direction?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think we've been doing it all year as a group. I think everyone in here was pulling for each other. I think we've had a lot of ups and downs as a group, and the best thing we've had is that we've been pushing each other. I think we've all been struggling as a group, and whenever you have a group doing that and working at the same rope, pulling the same rope, I think it helps. And we could dig each other out of holes, and this group has been doing that all year, and I think that's what you can start seeing it as the late that we're we're striding forward and we're putting our good step forward. So it's been awesome to grind with these guys all year, and hopefully we'll continue doing that and put that first 2 months behind us and move forward and finish off strong.
What's it been like seeing Jackson kind of catch fire here?
I think everyone, man. I think not just himself. I think there's a lot of good players right now that are doing their job, and we're kind of rolling as a group. I think all of you guys, not fans, as for you guys watching, reporters in front of me, I don't think you guys saw us doing this or getting here, but here we are, and I think we're going to finish off strong as a group.
Wait, didn't see you guys coming back from that too much.
Yeah, you guys love writing negative about us all year, so hopefully just some positives start coming out.
Does it take a minute, do you think, when you have a new manager, a new coaching staff, does it take a minute to just sort of click sometimes? Do you think that had anything to do with it?
I think, we're not idiots around here. I think at the end of the day, we weren't having a good year. We weren't hitting. When you're not hitting, what's going to happen? You're going to lose. It's plain and simple. It's black and white. There's nothing really more to it. It's just we weren't doing our job, and as a result of that, we weren't getting the results that we wanted.
How are you feeling at the plate? Because obviously you've been performing pretty well here.
I'm feeling all right. Feeling pretty good.
Did anything change for you?
I think those 4 days helped out big time. That definitely helped out a little bit. But no, man, just honestly, Annie, it's keeping the consistent stroke, staying with your approach and trying to be more consistent within and not giving up any at-bats and going out there and trusting the process that I've been putting out before the game and taking it onto the field.
That was Manny Machado inside the Padres clubhouse earlier today. Manny back at third base, batting third for the Padres in this series and homestand opener against the Colorado Rockies. We'll hear from Mason Miller coming up a little bit later as well. First pitch at 6:40 here in downtown San Diego. As we get ready for this one, let's give you our keys to tonight's game.
How will the Padres unlock a win today? These are the keys to the game. Presented by Rock and Block Turf and Hardscapes. Beautiful artificial turf that stays green all year long. Trust and experience. The job isn't done until it's done right. See them at rockandblocklandscape.com.
Well, you just heard Manny talk about it. Certainly the Padres offense in a different place than it was the first couple months of the season. Key number one here today, keep hitting. The Padres offense has really picked it up lately. They've scored at least 5 runs in 9 of their past 12 games. Let's look at a little bit of a bigger sample size. The last 42 games going back to early June. And remember, this offense was not in a good place entering the month of June as far as rankings in the major leagues. But if you go back to early June, that 42-game span, 250-17 batting average, that ranks 11th in the majors, 336 on base, that's 5th, 426 slug, that's 11th, 762 OPS, that's 10th, and nearly 5 runs per game is good for 11th in the major leagues as well. So this has been a much different offensive unit. Can the Padres keep that rolling into this homestand? That's key number one. Key number two, sort of on the same note, beat Michael Lorenzen on the road. Now, Michael Lorenzen, tonight's starter for the Rockies, has a 6.53 ERA on the season, a 327 opponent batting average. Both those numbers are the highest in Major League Baseball among pitchers with a minimum of 100 innings. However, Lorenzen has posted a 2.49 ERA in his last 4 road starts. Last Tuesday, Lorenzen gave up 6 runs in 3 2/3 innings, but that was at home against the Nationals. So again, Lorenzen has been a little bit better on the road, especially as of late. Can the Padres beat Lorenzen on the road today? That's key number 2. Key number 3, be good against Goodman. If there's one guy you gotta keep an eye on in this Rocky lineup, it is their catcher. He's a really, really good player. Hunter Goodman hitting .260 with 31 home runs. 2-time All-Star now, tied for 3rd in the majors and 2nd in the NL with those 31 home runs. Be good against Goodman. That's key number 3. And key number 4, Michael King in command. On Wednesday, King allowed 1 run over 6 innings against the Braves, but he did walk 4 while taking a no decision. Michael has walked guys, but he's also been effective by ERA, a 1.96 ERA in 4 starts this month. He has a career 5.40 ERA in 4 games, 3 starts against Colorado, but worth noting, he threw his lone career shutout, 8 strikeouts in that game back in April of 2025, the last time he saw the Colorado Rockies. So hopefully something like that again here today for Michael King. And that's a look at our keys to today's game. When we come back, we hear from Padres closer Mason Miller on the Padres Radio Network.
Keep it locked to the EcoWater.
Pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Westford Metal Building at Petco Park as we get ready for first pitch coming your way at 6:40. We send things out to Jesse and Bob Scanlon in just about 7 minutes. We'll hear from Mason Miller in a moment. First, let's tell you what to watch for in this series opener.
What's the one thing Sam Levitt will be keeping his eye on in today's game? This is What to Watch For. Presented by Genesis Home Improvements, San Diego's trusted painting, roofing, and window company. Save 15% today on a new beginning for your home. Visit GenesisHomeImprovements.com.
What to watch for in today's game? What kind of impact does Jake Cronenworth have in this game? He had 2 big hits to start both rallies on Sunday in Miami. He had 3 hits total, 2 runs scored in that win. Cronenworth is hitting .324 in his past 21 games. Remember, he was hitting just .144 on the season when he went on the IL. He has been a totally different player, and I know Manny and Merrill got the shine with the home runs in the 8th inning on Sunday, but Jake Cronenworth started both of the run-scoring rallies in that game. He has had a big impact as of late. Jake batting second and playing second base in this one here today. Well, Mason Miller, obviously best closer in baseball, 27 for 27 in save opportunities. Now, some rumors swirling. Could the Padres look to move Mason Miller at the deadline just a year after they traded for him from the A's? Mason Miller spoke with the media inside the clubhouse earlier today.
Every game's important from here on out, but yeah, it's a crunch time, and coming home after a sweep feels really good. So, not necessarily the road trip we hoped for in entirety, but finishing the way we did kind of allows us to come home and bring that momentum with us.
How much are you looking forward to this week being over from a personal standpoint?
I don't wish away a single day in the big leagues, so I just enjoy every single day, and for all of us, it's out of our control in terms of what might lie ahead, but what we do have control over is how we show up each day, and I think as a teammate and a part of this team, it's our job to show up each day and bring your best.
The way you guys played in Miami, what the lineup is doing, how you kind of piece it together from a pitching standpoint, what does it say about where this team is at right now?
I think it speaks to the group that we have. We haven't necessarily realized all the expectations that we had of ourselves and people had of us this year, but that doesn't change the talent that we have here. We've done everything well at different points during the year, so hopefully we're able to start doing it all collectively together now, and anything can happen these last couple months.
Stammen and a new coaching staff, what have you seen from them just in terms of the way that they've kind of navigated the ups and downs and maybe helped the club get to this point?
Yeah, there's a lot of experience here in the locker room, in the coach's room, maybe not as a coach but as a player, so I think every single person here knows kind of what we've been through, and been through that in some other point in their career too. So it's not something that's caught us completely off guard or anything like that. It's just about finding a way to move forward cohesively as a team.
What sticks out to you when you think about this week last year?
Honestly, it's roughly about the same, I guess. A lot of people talking, and I love where I'm at. I love the team I was with last year too. A lot of guys that I came up with, and friends still. But yeah, it's looking back over the course of the year, I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity here, and I love being a part of this group and this team and representing this organization and city. So, as long as they let me continue to be here, I'm excited about that.
That was Mason Miller inside the Padres clubhouse earlier today. We'll see if Mason gets an opportunity for his 28th save of the season here tonight. You've been listening to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show here on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. When we come back, we send things out to Jesse Agler and Bob Scanlon. They have the full starting lineups, first pitch, and all the play-by-play. I'll talk to you on our postgame coverage. You're listening to your home for San Diego Padres baseball, 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. Enjoy the game, everybody.
For windows and doors that combine